During a recent tour stop in Birmingham, England, a city renowned as the birthplace of heavy metal, Drake honored the iconic rock figure Ozzy Osbourne. The evening was filled with nostalgia, respect, and an unexpected blend of musical genres, showcasing Drake's boundless love for music. This moment may have been one of the most poignant of his UK tour. Welcome to Celebrity Cookies, where the tea is always hot and the stories come with sprinkles of surprise. Make sure to subscribe, leave a comment with your take on the story. On Wednesday night at the Utilita Arena Birmingham, which was packed with enthusiastic fans, Drake surprised the audience by not starting with a club hit or one of his reflective songs. Instead, as the lights dimmed and smoke filled the stage, the haunting riff of Black Sabbath's Iron Man resonated throughout the arena. The crowd was initially taken aback, confused and excited, before being completely captivated as Drake appeared from the smoke, his expression serious and illuminated by a spotlight. He took a moment before speaking into the microphone. "Hey Birmingham," he said, his voice heavy with sincerity. "Rest in peace to the legendary Ozzy Osbourne." In that instant, the Toronto-born rap star expressed his respect for Birmingham's own Prince of Darkness. It felt genuine and resonated throughout the evening. Drake is currently on his Some Special Shows For You tour with fellow OVO artist Party Next Door, focusing on reconnecting with fans in more intimate settings rather than large arenas. However, the events in Birmingham elevated the night to a more profound level. Earlier that day, a New York Times journalist traveling with the tour reported that Drake made a discreet visit to a local memorial for Ozzy Osbourne created by fans in Birmingham. Dressed in black with a hood, he reportedly poured a small glass of tequila and stood in silence for several minutes. When asked about his visit, Drake simply stated, "I just came out to pay respects to someone who lived it to the fullest." That single quote reveals a lot about how Ozzy Osbourne's legacy extends well beyond the realms of rock and metal. He was chaotic, unpredictable, influential, and fiercely individualistic. This reflects the journey that Drake has taken in hip-hop, as he has consistently defied genres, often eliciting mixed reactions, yet always remaining true to himself. Ozzy Osbourne's death was confirmed on Tuesday at the age of 76, after years of health issues and a semi-retirement. While fans around the globe mourn the loss of the heavy metal pioneer, few anticipated that one of hip-hop's leading figures would take such a prominent and vocal stand. However, Drake did not hold back. Inside the arena, the atmosphere changed after the tribute. Following Iron Man, Drake strolled across the stage, allowing the guitar riffs to resonate with the audience before seamlessly transitioning into Look What You've Done, a touching track from his album Take Care. The contrast between a metal anthem and an emotional rap ballad felt deliberate, as if Drake wanted the audience to reflect on their feelings, the passage of time, legacy, and the impact artists leave behind. That evening, the setlist subtly honored Ozzy's rebellious nature. Songs like Non-Stop and Can't Take a Joke were performed with added intensity. Even God's Plan had a different tone, less boastful and more introspective. Drake, who has always balanced confidence with vulnerability, leaned more towards the latter. But why Ozzy? Why would Drake, who grew up far removed from Black Sabbath's distorted guitars and anti-establishment message, feel compelled to pay tribute to Osbourne in such a direct manner? The explanation can be found in what both artists symbolize. At their heights, Ozzy and Drake were both viewed as innovators. Ozzy introduced horror and shock to music at a time when rock was already on shaky ground. He famously bit the head off a bat, laughed maniacally, and made the macabre seem grand. On the other hand, Drake infused introspection and vulnerability into a genre that had long been characterized by toughness and bravado. He expressed emotions in his songs, sang catchy choruses, and created space for sensitivity within hip-hop. Both artists faced criticism and were sometimes labeled as corny, gimmicky, or inauthentic. Yet, they both succeeded because their audiences resonated with the authenticity and rawness they brought to their respective genres. This is likely why Drake chose to start his Birmingham show with such a significant moment. In the city that birthed Ozzy Osbourne's legacy, Drake opted to focus on honoring the groundwork laid long before he ever took the stage. It's also important to recognize that Ozzy was more than just a rock star, he was a connector. Throughout his career, he collaborated with artists from various genres, including Elton John, Madonna, Post Malone, and Busta Rhymes. He was never hesitant to venture outside his comfort zone, a quality that has defined Drake's career as well. For instance, his album Honestly, Nevermind embraced house music and faced criticism for being too different, while More Life was a playlist that incorporated grime, Afrobeat, and Caribbean influences. These are not choices made by someone who lacks courage, much like Ozzy. Thus, the tribute makes perfect sense. The moment resonated on social media, with clips of Drake's entrance to Iron Man going viral on platforms like X, formerly Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok within minutes. Fans from both hip-hop and rock communities responded with a mix of surprise and admiration. Drake walking out to Black Sabbath was not something I expected for 2025. One user commented, "But I love it." Regardless of what you think about Drake, he knows how to honor legacy. Another user added. Even Sharon Osbourne, Ozzy's longtime wife and manager, shared the clip on her Instagram with the caption, "Thank you at Champagne Poppy. That was beautiful. Ozzy would be proud." That might be the greatest compliment Drake could receive. The rest of the Birmingham concert maintained that same high energy, but attendees agreed that the tribute was the standout moment. When Party Next Door surprised the crowd with a performance of Come and See Me, the atmosphere was already charged with emotion. While there are still several tour dates left in the UK, insiders suggest that Birmingham could be remembered as the most significant stop. This isn't due to guest appearances or unexpected song additions, but rather because Drake, in an unexpected moment of his career, merged two distinct musical realms. This also reflects how the boundaries between genres are increasingly blurred. If a rapper can honor a metal icon in such a meaningful way, it suggests that we may be moving toward a musical landscape where authenticity surpasses genre distinctions. It doesn't matter if you were raised on hip-hop or heavy metal, what truly matters is whether the music resonates with you. Drake himself touched on this idea during a quiet moment later in the show. Addressing the audience, he said, "Music is about feeling something. It doesn't matter where it comes from. If it reaches your soul, that's all that counts." That's something Ozzy would have supported. As the night came to a close and fans spilled into the streets of Birmingham, there was an electric atmosphere. It was the kind of feeling you get when you experience something that transcends a mere concert. Drake didn't just take the stage. He reflected on the past. He paid tribute. He ventured into territory that most artists wouldn't even consider. As the last notes of Iron Man faded away, it was evident that the Prince of Darkness would have been smiling widely. Here's to Ozzy Osbourne. And kudos to Drake for making it meaningful. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this situation, so please share your opinions in the comments. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay updated on this story.